It's supposedly spring break and nobody's going to show up, but I guess we got a lot of nobodies showing up tonight. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm going to let you know that, like I started last time's meeting, this is our second meeting here at Northside, and we love this space. If you'll look up, we're on some of the televisions, and some of them are playing something else. But here's the thing. If you keep talking, we won't be able to hear the speakers. We've got great speakers here tonight. And the video, we are live streaming. Hello, YouTube. Kendall, it's right above you. We are so thrilled tonight to have the great dignitaries that we have here. Kendall Scudder is with us tonight, our Texas Democrat Party chair. Thank you. We'll hear from him a little bit later. And Julie Johnson, our congresswoman for Congressional Seat District 32, is here tonight. And we're really looking forward to hearing from her, talking with her. I'm going to put her toward the end of the program so that she has plenty of time to answer questions, talk with y'all about what you want to hear about. So we've got an opportunity here to talk about what's going on in DC and let our voices be heard. So, but before we get started with that, my name is Jenny Laughlin. I'm the president of Richardson Area Democrats. Thank you. This whole thing just makes me so happy. I love looking out here and seeing people that I'm so surprised to see people that I've tried to get to come, and they're here. And there's people that came and it's their birthday and they decided to sit on the front row tonight. Thank you, Jennifer. But so it's been quite a month since we were last here. In that time, we had a primary election, and we had a phenomenal number of new Democrats that voted in this election. It's really kind of stunning. It's a great number. It's still a low number for, how many people are registered in the state, but what it did for us was give us a lot more data. Now, when we're going forward and we're talking to people about the upcoming elections, we know a lot more Democrats. And what that means is we need a lot more of you to show up and knock on these doors. We need door knockers, we need phone callers, we need texters, we need postcard writers. We've got a lot of work to do because we've got to turn out a whole lot more than what came for the primaries in order for us to take our country back.
What are the odds?
So this is it. We have this kind of interest in March. We're gonna just keep building towards November. So we've got a great program for you. We are gonna start with our. If I could get everybody to stop talking, everybody could stop talking. Thank you. I get to talk by myself. Thank you. We're going to have as we always do, every month we have a nonprofit that we feature. We're going to get them introduced here in just 1 second. Then we are also going to have the candidates that are here tonight are going to be able to come up here. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Hi, good to see you. give you 1 minute to introduce yourself, say what you're running for. Last month they only had 10 seconds, so you know it's a lot of time for you. And then we are going to have a word from Jenna Woodby. She is going to be telling you about a program that she's running. We've got a lot going on. I'll catch you up as we go along, but right now we're going to get started with our nonprofit feature.
Hello, everybody. Jenny is right. If you guys are talking, people can't hear. I can't hear. I have hearing issues. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for engaging with my Facebook post about asking for additional nonprofits to seek. You'll be seeing those in the next few months. I normally have them slated out a couple months in advance, so give me a couple months before you start seeing those. But tonight I'm going to be introducing Olga Pope, who I'm not sure I've seen tonight. Have you? Here she is. Okay. With Olga is with Sunday Supper, and this is an amazing organization. I'm really excited for you guys to get involved with it. You get to eat and learn about new cultures in the process. Okay, Olga?
Hello, everybody. I'll have my partner, Latha, start this conversation while I'm handing out sign-up sheets and QR codes for our website.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Doing well? Can you guys hear me in the back? Wonderful. My name is Latha, and that's Olga Pope, one of the co-founders of the Sunday Supper Foundation. And what we do is we build a longer table instead of building a higher wall. So this organization was started after the 2016 elections, where our two co-founders were thinking, what can they do to make a difference? And they decided, again, to build a longer table and invite a local refugee family to cook, open it up to all of their friends and family, and there launched the Sunday Supper Foundation. Wow. So we started at the beginning of 2017. The very first family that cooked for us was from Iran, and we slowly grew. We featured people from Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Ukraine, India. We've had many families from Afghanistan, Central African Republic, Nigeria, Venezuela. We actually had a human rights lawyer from Venezuela cook for us. She had to leave because she was under pressure at the time from the government to do things that were against her morals. And she came here to the U.S. and that was a wonderful supper. We've even had people from Syria and Iraq cook for us. So what we do is one of you will open your home to us, and we bring in all the tables, all the chairs, the plates. We work with the family. We come up with a wonderful menu of dishes from their native country. They cook for us. We average about 50 to 60 people at our suppers. It's always on a Sunday evening. We ask everyone to make a donation, and our suppers include all of this wonderful food and wine and cocktails and mocktails. So it's a really good time had by all. We average about $3,000 per family that we're able to give them at the end of our event. This is life-changing money for them. It's often enough to pay 2 months of their rent, and it really makes a difference to each family, and we try to have as many families as possible cook for us. We had an incredible year last year. We slowed down quite a bit with COVID. We came to a complete stop, and we rebuilt again. Last year, we raised $47,000 between 9 suppers. It was fantastic. And we had a very unexpected fundraising event last year. As many of you know, funding was suddenly cut off for many people, including refugees. They suddenly lost their SNAP benefits. They suddenly lost their housing benefits. Many of our refugees from Afghanistan worked with our military, and they're here under a special immigrant visa. And we try to go out of our way to help them because they have helped us so much. And unintentionally, Olga and I started a campaign to raise money for rent and their bills, and we raised about $53,000 in March of April of last year. Thank you. And we were able to basically pay 1 month of rent and cover their electricity bill just to give them a little bit of time to catch up. I have yet to meet a refugee family that is not working within 7 days of getting their social security number. They are here to work, to pay taxes, to contribute to society, and they still believe in the American dream. On that note, a quick call out. This is the first time we've raised that much money, and we now need help to file our taxes. So if anyone has that experience or knows someone who can help us, please get in touch, because we now actually have to file a longer tax form. Again, we do all of the work. We just ask people to open up their homes. We bring in the tables, the chairs, we clean up with us. And I know Olga's passing around sign-up sheets. There's a QR code on there that you can scan and digitally sign up, or you can just write down your email address. So if you could please pass these around. We would love to have all of you sign up. Our Facebook page is also there. We email. I promise you we don't email more than once a month, maybe twice at most, just to let you know about our upcoming events. And I'm going to pass it along to Olga. Just a quick note, because I know a lot of new refugees, as you know, are not able to come into the country. But what we see are many refugee families moving, especially from the north to Dallas, because it is cheaper to live here. There's still jobs. Texas, especially Dallas, still has a relatively strong economy, and they have a lot of community here. So we still have a lot of refugee families that are moving here. They're leaving everything behind from wherever they're coming from, and they need help. And I'm going to hand it over to Olga, but just really quickly, I want to say hi to my friend Kendall. So good to see you. And Julie Johnson, we've met once or twice, but I live in Valley Ranch, and you were my representative for a long time, so I just want to say hi. And I'm going to hand it over to Olga. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, as Latha mentioned, in the beginning when we started this foundation, we focused on newly arriving refugees and asylum seekers, and unfortunately that stream of those immigrants had stopped. And so now we are starting to move our focus to refugees and asylum seekers that have been affected by ICE raids. And so fortunately at one of these events, I met somebody from Vecinos Unidos a few months ago, and she is now introduced me to all these families that have been affected by ICE. And so in December, we hosted a lady that's now a widow, whose husband was murdered here in Dallas at the Immigration Detention Center last year. I'm sure you've all heard the story. And we were able to raise $10,000 for her in that one evening. And we have another event coming up on April 19th. It's going to be a Sunday, 5:30 in Carrollton. It's on our website. Please sign up. And it's going to be, we're going to be supporting a lady that is now a single mom because her husband got detained by ICE and still in custody from Colombia. So she'll be cooking an amazing Colombian dinner. Come, talk to same-minded people, open-minded people, people that want to help immigrant communities. And again, come and have an amazing dinner and help the refugee community. Again, you have the sign-up sheets. Please scan the QR code. I'm going to pick them up later. When I started this, me and my co-founder started this foundation in 2017, we wanted to be a positive change for good. And I'm inviting all of you to join our events and be the positive change for good as well in our community, especially in doing these trying times for refugee and asylum-seeking communities. Thank you, everybody, and I hope to see you at our events.
And thank you so much, Jenny, for inviting us. Olga and I are hanging out back at the bar, so please come and say hello. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I've been to one of their dinners and would love to go to another one. It is really just a really beautiful time with people that you'll want to stay friends with, the people that you meet there. So I encourage you all to follow up with her. And again, we will have her, their organization on our website under nonprofit at rad.vote. So you can follow up there if you didn't get something to write up tonight. The next thing that we're going to do is the candidates. I want you to come up, introduce yourself. You have 1 minute, and then just hand the mic over to the next candidate, okay? So it can just move right along. All right, so Brittany, are you going to be our first speaker?
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany Black. I am proud to be your Democratic nominee for Texas House District 61. Okay, yeah, applause it up. I'm a software engineer, I'm a small business owner, and I'm someone who's had to fight for literally everything my entire life. When I was younger, I barely survived a violent relationship and had to build everything back up from scratch. And I learned something really important from that, that if I ever got the chance to recover from that and help other people, then I would always step up and do that. Because if you do get the chance to make it through something like that, you can now teach other people and help other people in those situations like you didn't have the help. So and I think also politics has lost its humanity. I hear too often people say, yeah, I hear too often people say, it doesn't affect me, or why should I care? But the real question should be, how can I help? And how can we do this together? I want to be that kind of leader in Austin. Leadership that listens, welcomes all the people, and whether they voted for me or not, and doesn't judge anyone. We need to be that big tent and need to be welcoming. Because we're all neighbors, and public service really means showing up for everybody. And that's the kind of leader that I want to be. Thank you. If you want any more information, Brittany4Texas.com.
I am famously the clumsy one, so make sure I'm in the right spot. Hi, guys. How is everybody? We can do better than that. How is everybody? My name is Angie Caraway, and I'm running for House District 89. If you're not sure where that's at, it's just a little bit northeast of here. This is Richardson area, so it's so great to be here and see all of your lovely faces. I am a 14-year public school educator in middle school. And I teach history, specifically government, and what I've taught for 14 years of what's happening in our country, it's just not the same. Do we agree? Yeah. So I am running, obviously, to fix our public education, to support it fully, like the state is supposed to do according to our Texas state constitution. I'm working on affordability. We all need that. It's terrible right now when we have people making decisions to go to the doctor or get groceries. It's not okay. And then finally, I want government transparency. It's time for our leaders in the Texas State House to be held accountable for the terrible decisions that they've been making. Amen. Thank you. So, if you want more information from me, you can check me out at citizensforcaraway.com. That's F-O-R, Caraway's with 2 R's like dessert, because it's better. Thanks, guys.
Richardson, how are y'all? My name is Orlando Lopez, and I'm running for Texas House District 33. I'm a lifelong Texan, born and raised here, and I'm married to an educator, former public school teacher and counselor, so you can be damn sure that I'm going to stand up for public education in our state. I started off this race really just wanting to give Katrina Pearson a hard time, but now I really want to win this thing so that I can fight for each and every one of you here. If you live in District 33 and you did not vote for me in the primaries, you still have a chance to do so in the general election. So when you go out in November, I'm asking for your vote. Again, my name is Orlando Lopez, running for Texas House District 33, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Hey, how's everybody doing? If you don't recognize me, my name is Eric Eager, and I've had the honor of serving on the RISD school board for the last 6 years. And I'm running for re-election. I'm at large, so if you're in RISD, then you have the opportunity to vote for me. My family has been here for 54 years. I have lived in literally every feeder pattern in the district, and I'm up here fighting like everybody else because public education is too hard to let it dismantle. It cannot happen, and our kids deserve better. And what we've been able to do in the last 6 years in RISD is that, for example, our teachers, we've got the lowest turnover in our teachers in the last 20 years. Our kids' outcomes are improving. We are getting new middle schools, CTE centers. We're just getting started, but we need continue the effort because it's so important for our kids, and I appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve and have the opportunity to make a difference for all our kids in the district. And I'm literally eager for RISD.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Maureen Alexander. I am running for Criminal District Court number 5. It is a felony bench in Dallas County. As you guys know, those courts hear cases all the way up to capital murder. So anyone who is appearing before that court is at the worst time of their life, whether they're on the victim side for the prosecution or they're the citizen accused. I have 27 years criminal law experience. I'm board certified in criminal law, and I am RAD endorsed. So I'm so thankful to be here. I'm thankful for your support, and I hope you guys will vote. I'm in a runoff. And so, you know, the primary just happened. I know people are tired of talking about voting, but we got a couple of months. I hope everyone will come out and vote for me in the runoff. Maureen Alexander, I appreciate your vote and support. Thanks so much.
Good evening, folks. What a great turnout. I'm Ewan Blackman. I'm running for District 3, Richardson ISD. I'm a 23-year teacher in the classroom today, fighting in the trenches, making it happen, and not just myself, but for RISD. I am the architect. I worked for 18 months to get our teacher pay plan passed. We went from number 43 in North Texas to number 1 for veteran teachers. That's getting the job done. That's a steady hand of leadership. I hope you'll vote for me, Ewan Blackman, District 3. Thank you, and have a great night.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keenan Colbert. I'm the Democratic nominee running for Texas State Senator of District 2. That's here. That's Collin County. That's Kaufman County. That's Rockwall County. That's Ellis County. That's Dallas County. That's Navarro County. That's Van Zant County. If you can think in your head where that's at, you can probably figure it out in your head that it's pretty gerrymandered, but that's not going to stop me. I wish I had a sexier story as to why I was here. Truth be told, I'm running because I saw that nobody else was going to, and only having one decision on the ballot for state senator doesn't seem very democratic to me. Now, I only have a few more seconds, so I'm going to make this quick so you know a little bit about me. If nothing else, the only thing that I want you to remember is my name, Keenan Colbert, nominee for state senator of District 2. If you wanted to know something else about me, listen closely. All I am asking you to do is vote wisely and vote all the way down the ballot, because everything on the ballot counts. If it wasn't important, it would not be on the ballot. So you might not remember what everyone said. You might not even remember my face. Just remember my name. I'm the only Democratic person that's going to be on that ballot, and I need you to vote wisely, and I need you to vote all the way down, and I need you to encourage your friends to do the same thing. I know there's a lot of people that aren't in this room that you know that probably should be in this room, that probably should be listening to our candidates, because our candidates are doing everything that they can to reach them. I need you to reach them and invite them into the conversation and what's going on. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Democrats. How are y'all doing? For those of you that do not know me, my name is Dan Barrios, and I am proud to be your Democratic nominee for Congressional 32. It has been an incredible journey. This morning, about 1 o'clock, I got home. I just spent the last few days in D.C., and in D.C., I learned 3 things while I was there. One, that on the Republican side, there was a runoff. One of my Republican opponents dropped out, so this race has been set. My opponent is Jay Scarborough, so we will be going through through the general election. Jace ran for Senate a few years ago. He lives a couple hours west of here, so I'm also proud to say that I'm the only candidate that lives in District 32. Thank you. I also learned that a sad piece of news, and that is the death of one of Richardson's residents, Mr. Mohammed Nazir, who died in the hands of ICE while he was in custody less than 24 hours. While I did not personally know him, that breaks my heart that that is happening. And every day we are meeting people. I am meeting Republicans every day that are tired of that. And that's how we're gonna win. I tell people, look, every time Trump opens his mouth, we're getting votes. That's the reality. Why? Because Republicans are tired of it. So but it's gonna take us coming, it's gonna take talking to them, it's gonna take us relating and sharing why we proudly vote Democrat. Now, I'm a proud Democrat. I've been part of RAD since the very beginning. I've been part of the party for many years. On the city council, as y'all know, I've had the great honor of serving on Richardson City Council the last 3 years. I know how every person on that council votes, left or right, on in a presidential. But the reality is, in 3 years, I've never seen a single vote on the Richardson City Council go down a party line. Never. Why? Because we're focused on results. And that brings me to the third thing. Absolutely, results are important. That brings me to the third thing I learned while in DC. We were talking about, I was up there for a National League of Cities. So it was mayors and city councilmen from all over the nation, people both sides of the aisle, nonpartisan, people from every state in the union. I learned that in all of Congress, there are about 70 members of Congress that have local experience. And a lot like which is, to me, it blows my mind, because I believe, a lot like what I did when I ran for the city council, I believe that the strength of the decision comes from the diversity of that. That's life experience. That is educational. It's background. It's all of who I am as a Democrat, as a Methodist, as a father, as a member of the Richardson community. It's part of what I bring to the table. And I will say, I think we need more people with local experience. So not only am I proud to say I'm the only one that lives in 32, I'm also proud to say I'm the only one who's actually served. And there's ups and downs of having served. Why? Because you have a record. You can easily look up people's votes. But that's okay, because we need to be held accountable to that. We need to look to see what people experience. Some people talk about what they dream and what they'd like to do. Then there are people who've lived, who've had to vote in front of people, who've had to live with those decisions the next day. And that's definitely what I bring to the table. So, one, I am so excited that Congresswoman Johnson is here this evening. My apologies. And I do want to apologize to her and everybody. I do have to run after this because I was supposed to be on a call 5 minutes ago. And I'm sure they're waiting on me right now. But thank you guys for coming out. I love seeing this room. Jenny, another great turnout. Wow, RAD is rocking it. And we need to continue to do this. We need to continue to grow this all the way through November and not stop. Because that's the only way we're gonna win this, is with each and every one of y'all's participation. Thank you, Democrats. Y'all have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Sophia Zimmerman. I'm the Communication Director for Collin County Young Dems. And I'm asking you to help activate our Young Dems in Collin County and Richardson, Texas. So when you go home tonight, I want you to talk to your friends, family, and tell them to follow Collin at YDS on Instagram. And if you're more than willing, donate as well on there on our link tree. And thank you so much, and thank you to Jenny.
Thank you, Sophia. I want to make sure that we recognize our young people. This is our future. She came in and she said, if you know anybody here that's under 35, would you please point them out to me? And I start looking around and I'm like, woo! Y'all, we got some work to do around here. So thank you, Sophia, for doing that. And thanks for the, I think that the young Democrats, let's go. We have got Nazlee Burney is right here. Nazlee is running for the RISD Board of Trustees, District 3, and I am very proud that she's here to talk with us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginny, and hi guys, how are you? Thanks to Ginny and Richardson area Democrats for inviting me here today as I introduce myself and tell you why I want to serve on the school board. I have lived in Richardson for almost 19 years. Richardson is where we built our home, where we have raised our 3 wonderful kids, and this community has given a lot to my family. I hold a Master of Education in Curriculum Teaching and Learning with a specialization in educational leadership, and I got that from Texas Women's University. Anybody from Texas Women's University? Yeah? All right. Okay. But I have served in this district as an educator at the elementary and the high school levels. I've also worked as an admissions director at a private school, but just these experiences have given me more insight into the challenges and opportunities that are facing our schools today. But beyond my professional experience, I have 3 kids, 2 of whom are former RISD graduates, and I have 1 who is currently a junior at Richardson High School. So another year to go, and then we will be empty nesters. And I can for sure dedicate my time to the school board. So like many families here, we chose to, so like many families here, we chose Richardson, consciously chose Richardson to be our home and the schools where our kids go. I do have a story. At one point, my husband and I decided to put all our kids in private school because we wanted to feel the experience and understand the difference of what each type of school had to offer. But we did not expect what happened a year later when all 3 of my children wanted to come back to Richardson ISD. And they each had their own reason. For my son, it was the diversity that in his peers. And for my daughter, it was the extracurricular activities and sports offerings that our public schools do so well. And for my youngest, it was just making friends in a more larger community. And as we all know, private schools are not as large. Classroom ratios are small, but you don't have that opportunity to make more friends. So what RISD does, I feel, is that it brings community. It's a community that brings together families from different cultures and backgrounds and experiences. I am glad that my children got the opportunity to learn alongside peers from different walks of life. Because of RISD, my children have grown into thoughtful and respectful and globally aware young adults without ever having to leave Richardson. I always felt like, even as an educator, because I taught at Berkner 2 years ago, Berkner High School, I taught their CTE pathway in education, and I have seen more cultures in one classroom than on an international trip. So that speaks really well for our district and what we have been able to accomplish in these past decades. As a trustee, my priorities will be clear. Today, we all know public education faces new challenges due to the expansion of the voucher programs and also to the increased pressure on school funding. I will strongly advocate to our state leaders to increase that basic per student allotment that hasn't been raised since 2019. And I don't know if you guys know, but since 2019, the cost of our groceries have gone up. It has gone up by 30%. And yet for the cost of educating our students hasn't moved the needle since 2019. And that is unfair to then expect these wonderful outcomes without putting in the investment. Am I right? So serving on the school board is a serious responsibility. It requires dedication, thoughtful leadership, and a deep commitment to the community that we serve. I am ready to bring my experience as an educator, my perspective as a parent, and my passion for this district to the work ahead. So I would appreciate any and all support to help me get that seat. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker, I have not seen her here yet, but is Tamika in the room? Tamika Jones? Okay, well, she was going to be here tonight. Something must have come up. She's running for district judge, so she's one of our endorsed candidates also. I'm sorry she didn't make it tonight, but please check her out. The next thing on my list is, I know you, yeah, you, come here. It's Jenna, in case you guys didn't know. Jenna is here to talk about a program that she's starting, and I'll give the mic to her.
Okay, to get your attention, we're going to start with a game, because we all love games, right? Okay, so I'm going to say 2 quotes from 2 different presidents, and you're going to have to tell me who said the quote. Okay, are we ready? Sure. Okay. First quote. Ask not. Everybody, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And absolutely, Kennedy. Yes, very good. Okay. The second quote. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. And we all saw that live during the presidential debate with RAD playing bingo. And yet, he still won.
Maybe.
Which is part of the problem. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jenna Whidbey. I'm a middle school communication and computer science teacher. And when you think about what Kennedy said, what we can do for our country, it made me think, what could I do? Because I'm not a politician. I can't write laws. But it doesn't matter what kind of great leaders we elect if people think that their immigrant neighbors are eating pets. So what I did was, because I'm a teacher, I decided to come up with some computer literacy courses for the Richardson Senior Center, and I'm offering them for free. Why seniors? Because seniors are one of the biggest voting blocks. Am I right? Am I right? So what I'm asking for you is, now I need my things, I need my props, is 1, if you want to learn about keeping yourself safe online, I have a class for that in March. If you want to learn about finding credible resources online so you don't think people are eating animals when they are not, that course is in April. And if you want to learn amazing ways you can use AI, that course is in May. But I'm not done. I also need volunteers, and I have a QR code. So if you are tech savvy, or if you are a politician who wants to meet Richardson people from across the aisles, because these classes are going to be nonpartisan, but if you want to reach across the aisle and reach people who maybe you might not reach. Volunteer, because I need my volunteers for table talks and also to help with people's phones, their tablets, and their laptops, because I'm also wanting to build community. So there we go, under 3.
Thank you, Jenna, and thank you for doing that important program. I know that's going to be something that's really well received. I am going to jump a little bit ahead of what I was going to do and bring up our Congresswoman, Julie Johnson. We'll go to her next because she has a call that she's got to get on. I got to tell you guys, I really appreciate Julie being able to join us tonight. I mean, we need to hear from our representative in the United States Congress, and I appreciate that you could, that it worked out, number one, because we've tried a lot of times and it hasn't. But today she was able to step in. So I will, without further ado, let her talk to you about what's going on.
Hello, hello, hello. You know, it is great to be with you all. I'm so excited to see so many candidates here running for the state legislature. In particular, I had to go find them out. Candy Noble is terrible. Christina Pearson is horrible. These two individuals need to win, so we need to make sure that we do everything we can. I'm here to talk about the SAVE Act. Jenny texted me, I was flying home from DC this afternoon, and she texted me, she goes, is there any chance you could come and talk about the SAVE Act? I'm like, actually, I can, let's go. And so here we are, and I just want to thank you all so much. So many of you have come up and had so much support and hugs and love and all that, and it just really is great to see you here. And I'm going to address one thing, and then I'm going to move on to the SAVE Act. As you know, I'm in a primary runoff, and that is fine, because, you know, the thing about it is, we were expecting about 30,000 voters in the runoff. We had, in the primary, we had 72,000 people come and vote. I'll take that every day. We had almost 20,000 people who have never voted before. So I'm telling you, so that is what we all need to see. We need to see turnout like we've never seen before, and that's what we saw in the Texas primary, because we have some fabulous candidates up and down the ballot. And to echo the comments, make sure you vote for everybody, leave no one out. Okay, Washington. There's a lot going on up there, and I want to just say right now, if you haven't yet, please email my official office. It's like at juliejohnson.house.gov, whatever, and sign up for our newsletters. They're fabulous. They're full of content. They're once a month. They'll give you a lot of information of everything that we're doing up there on your behalf. So I encourage you to please sign up for our newsletters. We got a lot of very positive feedback about them. My staff works really hard on that. So I hope you'll do that. Okay, I sit on Foreign Affairs. I'm on Europe and South Central Asia. I'm on Homeland Security. I'm on the border and FEMA. Those are my subcommittees. I'm on House Administration for Elections. So those are the 3 committees that I have been appointed to. I'm one of the only freshmen that has 3 committees. Most people just have 2. But because of Texas and our unique relationship to elections, I fought really hard to get on that committee because I think it's important. So the SAVE Act. This is terrible. It is one of the singularly most horrible pieces of legislation that could ever happen in our country. Because for me, the right to vote is sacred amongst all other things. All things. You know, when I was in the state legislature, I broke quorum, I was in DC. You know, we have consistently fought to preserve the right to vote here, because all policy comes from the right to vote. No other policy matters if you can't vote and if we as an electorate cannot cast our ballot. So preserving the right to vote is critically important. And Republicans know they're going to lose. We just had 72,000 people show up in our primary. They know that they are headed for hell in November. And so they are going to do everything they can. Donald Trump is terrified of us flipping the House. The reason for that is we can actually pass an impeachment resolution. Yeah, and I'll be right in line to vote for that. Secondly, we have the gavels, and all of a sudden we can put all his administration under sworn testimony, under oath. When they come and testify, oftentimes they're not put under oath. They can make up whatever the hell they want to, and they don't have any accountability to the American people. And no, by God, when we're in control, we're going to subpoena them, we're going to swear them in, we're going to hold them to the accounts of perjury, we're going to force them to tell the truth to the American people on what is happening in this administration. And that is really important. So the SAVE Act is one of their #1 priorities. All things, as you know, Ken Paxton even said, I'll drop out of the Senate race if they pass the SAVE Act. So what does it do? Well, what it does is forces you to prove citizenship every single time. So if you are here and let's say you move, you have to go in person to the Dallas County Elections Office with your birth certificate or your passport to change your voter registration. That is the only way you can register to vote. You have to bring that same proof of citizenship to the polls to prove to whatever random election worker that you are a U.S. citizen and that you can vote. Now, just take a moment to take that one in. Think of all the election judges that may not want us to vote. Maybe they don't think your picture looks like you, or maybe they don't think your birth certificate is you, or let's just go the next level and say you're married and your name doesn't match your birth certificate because you took your husband's name. You know what you got to do now? You have to sign an affidavit that you are in fact you. Now, does that mean that we have to have notary publics at every election site so that you can sign your affidavit? Does that mean you have to go pay a notary, which basically makes it a poll tax? So what are we going to do? So this bill is horrible. So I offered some amendments to say, just to force this on these Republicans, because rural Texas, you can't necessarily get to your county elections office. You might live 200 miles away. So okay, let's at least say we can upload our documents online. Nope. I offered another amendment that says you can file a lawsuit if you're wrongfully denied the right to vote. You can file a, so as an American citizen, if they tell me I can't vote, what's my redress? What is more important? My right to vote or making up somebody's not right to vote? I think my right to vote, your right to vote, is more important. And so the SAVE Act, I can't even tell you, and then, let me just even get you the best one. It requires the states to submit all of their voter file to the Department of Homeland Security. Yes, Texas already did that. Greg Abbott sent your voter file to the Department of Homeland Security. Yes, that happened. So, and that mandates that happens for every single state to send out their voter files. So what does that mean? Are they going to send ICE to the polls? They're going to start torturing people, intimidating, scaring people? What are they going to do with all that? Or charge you with voter fraud because maybe you moved, you didn't update your voter registration. Are you trying to fraudulently vote? What's going on? So the SAVE Act cannot pass. passed out of the House straight party lines, because you know they have a 3-vote margin. I obviously voted against it. I spoke against it. I was on the rules debate. I was on the floor debate. I amended it. I did everything I could. But it's in the Senate now, and the Senate is debating it right now. I do not believe that the Senate Democrats are going to give up. They will not fold on this. The only way this passes is if the Senate Republicans give up the filibuster. And if they vote to abandon the filibuster, that's the only way this bill is going to pass. So Trump is marching them all in to get them to turn over the filibuster. And the filibuster has been a Senate stalwart tool for the minority party since the dawn of time. And they know that Democrats are going to take it back. And they want to keep the filibuster. Because otherwise, think of all the stuff we can pass, right? And they won't be able to stop it. So that's where we are on the SAVE Act. I really don't think it's going to pass. I really do think the Senate's going to kill it. I really do. I have to say, the best part of campaigning is when your wife brings you a beer at the thing when you're at a brewery. So, woo! I was telling one of our candidates, I said, always show up with somebody that you can text, I need a beer. Always have staff. Let's talk about Iran. An illegal war. It's wrong. I've spoken out against it time and time and time again. It's very concerning what's happening. This administration has zero plan. They have no exit strategy. They are putting all of our allies at risk. And it's interesting that the allies aren't coming to our help. They've all said, thanks, no. But our oil markets are going to be horrifically destabilized. If the Qatar gas fields go down, it's going to be catastrophic on our energy markets. So there's a lot happening there. And I think he's realizing that maybe they screwed up, but they can't get out. And now they're asking for $200 billion. It'll be a no. I don't see this getting passed. I think this is going to be the way that congressional Democrats can say no. They can't pass it without us, and we're not going to give it to them. It's the same reason why we are still in a government shutdown over ICE. I have voted against ICE funding every single time. What is happening in this country is unacceptable. I have spoken out about it. I've been able to ask Kristi Noem directly about it on multiple occasions, the head of ICE. It is not okay what is happening. And we are in a government shutdown in the Department of Homeland Security. The problem is that means TSA is not paid. That means FEMA's not funded. That means the Coast Guard's not funded. It means we're having people work without pay. Think about that. It's hard. I'm not getting paid either. I voluntarily say if any member of the federal government is not getting paid, I'm not getting paid. And I think it's the right thing to do, right? And I voted yes on a bill that would prohibit congressional pay during a shutdown. I think it's responsible government. I think that's what we have to do. But Democrats have offered 5 different legislations in the Senate. And then yesterday in the House, we had what's called a discharge petition to force funding on everything but ICE. And so none of the Republicans have signed it. So they don't really care about TSA. They don't really care about FEMA. They don't really care about our Coast Guard because we have given them multiple tools and multiple vehicles to sign on and fund that. But they don't want to do it unless they can fund their street terror regime, which we are not having, and we are a no on. So we're in an impasse. So I don't know. I mean, I think, unfortunately, probably air traffic is going to just have to get more complicated for the Republicans to move. But nothing can be more complicated than people dying in the streets of this country. Democrats are not moving. So I want to address the Afghan man. I went to the ICE facility on Monday. So the family reached out to us. I've been in contact, spoke with them on several occasions. I went as a member of Congress. They have to let me in. They don't let anyone else in. I was the only person that could go, that they would have to talk to. So I went because, by God, they're going to have to talk to somebody, right? They made my staff wait outside. I had to go in by myself. But fortunately, I'm a trained lawyer. I know how to ask questions. And, but you know, what's happening there is unconscionable. It is awful. We're going to do an initial, a full investigation and really give the family a detailed timeline and really break down what's happened so that the public and the family can decide how public they want it to be. But we are going to get the answers for this family 100% and hold this agency accountable for the death of a 41-year-old man who, let me just get this straight for y'all. He was in Afghanistan and helped the men and women of our armed forces. And he was part of an American military evac program who they evacuated the allies there whose lives were going to be in danger if they stayed due to how much help they did for us. So we brought him and his family here. And we gave him permission to be here. And then he was working. He has 6 children. The youngest was born here. And he was detained, taking his kids to school. Healthy, 41-year-old man, dead 24 hours later. There's a lot going on there that I can't answer at this point, but I'm just telling you, we're going to do a full investigation. I've already sent all the stuff to start it all, and we're going to hold this agency accountable. I just want to end with, it's the honor of my life to serve you in Congress. I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. It is the hardest thing I've ever done. It is. It is hard. The schedule's impossible. The breadth of information we have to deal with is really big. But it is, I work really hard every single day for you to fight for the values that we have, that we share, to make sure that your voice is represented in the United States Congress and that the values that we share are advocated for, and I do the very best I can. You may not agree with every one of my votes, but just know I come with it with the best of heart and with everything trying to balance the totality of all the circumstances, and I do the very best I can.
Thank you.
Thank you. The thing I ask for you in return is to please vote in the November election. We cannot lose. This administration, these Republicans cannot stay in power. If I have learned one thing, it is that they cannot stay in power. So I'm going to do, regardless of the results of my primary runoff, I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to make sure that Gina Hinojosa is our next governor, and to make sure that James Talarico is our next senator, and to make sure that Nathan Johnson is our next attorney general. And the list goes on, and that we elect great state representatives, and that we win. Because let me just tell you, remember, 72,000 people voted in our primary. I mean, telling you what. I mean, while on one hand that tortures the hell out of me, on the other hand, I'm so excited about it. So it depends on what side of the coin is up that day. But, you know, Texas Democrats outvoted Republicans. And it's because we have a great TDP chair sitting right there. And I do want to shout out Kendall for something, because this is so important. We are in a sea-change wave. You know, the last time in 2018 is when I first stepped up to run for the state legislature because I was so irritated after Trump 1.0. And I never thought I could run for office. I'd never done that before. I was just a pissed off person. And I flipped my House seat red to blue as the first Democrat to do it in 40 years. Nobody thought I could win, but you know what? I did, and I won by 13 points. And message to you. Don't give up, because you can win. And it takes it when we are all here, but we cannot win if we don't have Democrats on the ballot. We can't win if we don't give voters a choice. The fact that Kendall Scudder filled every single ballot slot for the state and the congressional races is such a thing. Because now there's races that people think, you know what, we might win those. And they wouldn't have been a possibility if we didn't even have a candidate. So this is the time to be excited. I hope you will all come to the Dallas County Democratic Convention on Saturday. You know, I'm going to be there, but this is the time for us to come together. It's time to volunteer. It's the time to talk to your people. It's the time to do absolutely everything you can, because why? This man cannot win. This party cannot win. The SAVAC cannot pass. This war must stop. Things have to end. ICE has to stop. Yes. And it won't happen unless we vote. So thank you so much. It's so great to be with you all tonight.
So appreciate taking your time tonight to be with us. She just barely got back in town this afternoon. Thankfully, the flight was not delayed with all the trouble that they've had. So she was able to be with us tonight, and I appreciate you taking the time. We are going to go straight to Kendall Scudder. I can't tell y'all how proud I am that he comes and spends some time with us. This man has turned Texas around. You have. I have been so impressed. Just from the get-go and continuously, you keep making me prouder, and thank you so much for coming here tonight.
Okay, before I get started, let me start with the Julie Johnson story, okay? Because we've become old friends at this point. So I have to make a stipulation. As the chairman of the party, I'm the chief primary administrator. I don't pick sides in primaries. I love all my Democrats equally. But Julie's here, so I'm going to tell you a story about her. When I ran for the seat that Keenan is running for back in 2018, it was a seat that a Democrat had not run in over 20 years. I was 26 years old. People didn't take me seriously. It was really hard to raise money. But I got out of bed every morning and ate glass, okay? Before it was over with, I took a district that Hillary Clinton got 22% of the vote in, and I got 42% of the vote in it, okay? When I was doing that, you candidates can relate to what I'm about to say. I did call time nonstop. People didn't answer my phone calls. I left lots of voicemails. I felt like I was doing it all by myself. But there was a candidate on a completely other side of Dallas County that didn't even touch my county. And so everybody kept telling me, you have lesbian moms, right? I was like, yeah. You need to call Julie Johnson. You're going to love Julie. Okay. So I reached out to Julie Johnson, who answered my calls and helped me every step of the way. And you're such a great team player, Julie. And like, even when I was a 26-year-old kid running against the wind, Julie Johnson was there, and I appreciate you always being there to help Democrats. And your work in Congress has been so incredible, and I'm grateful to you and the work you've done. Okay. So, my name's Kendall Scudder, for those of you I had a chance to meet. I got elected chairman of the Texas Democratic Party last year after over 20 years of grassroots work in this state. I'm a farm kid from East Texas, and I grew up with lesbian mamas, which is how I know how to fight. You grow up with lesbian moms in East Texas. And when I was 12, Republicans were trying to take kids like me out of our homes and put us in foster care, so I started knocking on doors. And I have just been the kind of guy that rolls up my sleeve and tries to get work done. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have been really pissed off for years about a party that I didn't feel valued its grassroots. A party that thought you could just lock a bunch of consultants in a room and buy your way out of problems. A party that spent all of its time defending institutions that frankly did not work for working class people like us. I felt like they kind of jumped the shark and missed the moment. And so when I had an opportunity to run last year, I ran as an unapologetic voice of the grassroots. And I will tell you today, I don't work for political consultants. I don't work for elected officials. I work for you, because this party belongs to you, okay? That is why these conventions on Saturday are so important. For those of you who may be new in, you may not know what these conventions are. I want to take a second to explain it. These conventions are your opportunity to put your thumbprint on the party. If there is something that you feel the party isn't doing, or something you want it to take a stand on that it hasn't, this is where you get to pass resolutions and rules changes and fix it. And if it passes out of enough conventions, it goes to the state convention in Corpus Christi, God willing that we have water, and at that point, we are able to overhaul the state party. And I tell you that as someone from experience, a guy that got frustrated and stepped up and tried to fix it. So let me tell you what we've been able to get done in the last year, and then I'll talk about this primary. When I took over as chairman of the party just a year ago, we had crippling debt that we didn't even know we had. Over $500,000 in debt was what the party was staring down the barrel of. A party that has to maintain all of our data scientists for our voter file, run all of our legal for our voter protection, a party that's in charge of our messaging and our coordinated campaign. It is hugely important that our apparatus have its shit together, and it did not. Fast forward 1 year later, I am the chairman of the debt-free Texas Democratic Party that just 3 weeks ago announced our $30 million coordinated campaign with funding secured. It is the first of its kind coordinated campaign based off of swing states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, because if we want to win in this state, you've got to stop acting like it's amateur hour and start treating Texas like a swing state. This project called Texas Together will allow every Democrat in Texas to operate out of the same bucket. Why are you so defensive of your data? What are you protecting? We are on a team, moving in the same direction with a shared goal of winning elections. You can fight over fiefdoms and silos after we win elections. I'm not here to win arguments. I'm here to win elections, okay? And so it's time for us to get serious about being on a team. For the first time since 1972, Democrats have recruited a candidate in every state and federal office in Texas. Every state house, every state senate, every state board of education, every state judicial, every congressional, every statewide office. The reason that's important is because if you are a Republican in this state, I don't care how long you've held office, I don't care where you live, you're gonna have to fight me for it. Because that's what it means to be an opposition party. We don't let any fascist go unchecked. If you're fighting to defund our community public schools, you've got to get through us to get it done. In the past, we have left on average 40 to 50 seats completely uncontested. Several of them where Democrats ended up getting the most votes. But because we didn't have candidates in it, we did not win those seats. What are we doing here, guys? So for the first time, we were able to get that accomplished, and I'm very proud of it. And I will tell you, one of the most exciting parts of being chair so far was what we accomplished in January, where we took a Senate district that Donald Trump won by 17 points, and we carried it, moving it 31 points. That comes from a couple of things. Having really great candidates who work really hard and understand you win elections from the bottom up, not from the top down. But it also, public sentiment, I'll acknowledge, had a lot to do with it as well. But that doesn't control for a 31-point flip. That was our test run you're fine, that's our test run for our coordinated campaign. And so we have proof of concept that our coordinated campaign works. And now we have been able to do it as a test run. We flipped a seat in the Senate, and I think that it bodes very well for us in the general. It would be one thing if that were one data point, but it is not one data point, because we also moved 30 points when Democrats outvoted Republicans for the first time in over 20 years in this primary. Where Democrats usually get outvoted 70-30 or 65-35, we ended up getting more votes than them. So, these Republicans have had a lot of fun pointing at our successes and calling them one-offs. But let me tell you, this year, the momentum has shifted. A data point has turned into a trend line, and Greg Abbott is terrified he's about to lose his job. And it couldn't happen to a worse person, a grifter that sold out your community public schools for $13 million. He let an East Coast sugar daddy buy his way into privatizing our community public schools. He should be held account for that. For the first time in American history, the poorest people in this country will pay a higher tax rate than the richest. That means that all of Trump and his administrations will pay a lower tax rate than their waiters, lower tax rates than their golf caddies, lower tax rates than their top secret cabana boys, Lindsey Graham. It's unconscionable. And here is why this ties into who we are and what we do. If you'd have asked somebody, people in this room in the last election, what Democrats stand for, you would have gotten about 70 different answers. I think Democrats have missed the mark. They've forgotten what it means to be a Texas Democrat. When I grew up in East Texas, my mama, who had me as a teenager, she didn't vote. I asked her what the difference is between a Democrat and a Republican. She said, well, Republicans are for corporations, Democrats are for people, we're Democrats. It was pretty simple. She knew it, not because some consultant in Austin told her to believe that. She knew it because for generations, this party delivered for families like ours. My granddaddy was born alone into a wash bucket with nobody in the room but his mama on a farm that only had electricity and clean water because of Franklin Roosevelt, the New Deal, and the Democratic Party. He walked to school on cattle paths, alternating the days he would go with his brothers because they shared a single pair of boots. Schools that were mandated for the first time by Democrats, while Republicans kicked and screamed every step of the way, calling it socialism. He became the first person in our family that could read or write. And when the droughts hit East Texas in '59, my family lost everything. And we depended on programs in the Great Society like Medicare and Medicaid and expansions to Social Security, programs that reduced poverty in this country by 75%. Big, bold, progressive ideas that change lives for working class people. That is what this party is about. If someone asks you what it means to elect a Texas Democrat, it means that you have elected someone who will take on whatever billionaire, whatever banker, whatever bootlicking bastard you have to make sure that the little guy gets their seat at the table. That's what it means to be a Texas Democrat. Legendary Senator Ralph Yarborough, the only Southern senator that supported every piece of civil rights legislation that came in front of him. He used to campaign right here in Texas, telling people, we're going to put the jam on the bottom shelf so the little people can reach it. It's a core tenet of who we are. We aren't the defenders of the institutions Donald Trump's trying to tear apart. We're a reformer of the institutions that have not worked for working class people. And so candidates in the room, as you campaign this cycle, as the chair of the party, I'll tell you, I better not hear you talking about preserving Social Security. You better talk about expanding Social Security. You better not talk about making sure people get to see a doctor when they're sick. You should be able to see a doctor before you get sick. This is not about making sure that the doors of our schools don't get barricaded. This is about making sure we have the best funded public schools in the world the way we did the last time Democrats ran Texas. Big, bold, progressive ideas that change lives for working class people. Ladies and gentlemen, the Texas Democratic Party is alive and well. And this year, I have full confidence that as Texas Democratic country needs us. Remind you that that new deal I spoke about earlier was brought to you by a Texas Democrat, Sam Rayburn. And that great society we spoke about was brought to you by a Texas Democrat, Lyndon Johnson, that Houston scientists put a man on the moon. And that the last balanced budget this country ever saw was brought to you by Texas Democrat Lloyd Benson. When this country needs help, Texas Democrats rise to the occasion to meet this moment. And this year, in November, when the whole country is fearful of Donald Trump stacking the Supreme Court, the news is going to read that you, Texas Democrats in this room today, met this moment again and delivered a Democratic member of the Senate in James Tallarico. And that when Greg Abbott sold out, he was evicted from the governor's mansion, and we got Governor Gina Hinojosa. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's all going to happen. We're going to run the table, and it's going to be easy. And in fact, if you're going in Vegas, don't put all your money on it. But just because something hasn't been probable doesn't mean it's not possible. And I will remind you that when we started the quorum break last year, I was told not to bother because they'd never do it. And when they came home, we delivered 5 members of Congress from a different state. When I originally pitched the idea of going to Gavin Newsom to get Prop 50 on their ballot, I was told that I was young and naive. But there's something about not being kicked in the teeth so long that you still have a little bit of belief. And so I started going on the news, and the first headline that I really loved was, Texas Dem Chair to Blue State Governors. What the fuck are you waiting for? That was the horse headline. And I sent it over to him, and I said, first of many, looking forward to a fun quorum break. And within a week, we started having conversations about putting Prop 50 on the ballot in California. Texas Democrats are teaching this country how to fight. And so this year may not be probable, but it's not about winning everything this year. This is about long-range planning, ladies and gentlemen. If Texas is not in play by 2032, you will not have a Democratic president without Texas or North Carolina. The redistricting math doesn't work. If we are not building this starting now with a vision on that, we are going to be wondering in 2032 why the people in 2026 didn't start building in a long-range plan. 2032 starts this cycle. We're going to get some wins. We're going to flip some down ballots. I think we're going to flip some top ballots. The goal is that by 2032, we don't even have to stress out because Texas went blue and never looked back. Okay? That is the goal. You can participate in that by going to TexasTogether2026.com, 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 where you can sign up to volunteer. This coordinated effort is the first one in Texas history where we are all on a team working together. You will be working for every Democrat on your ballot as we move forward in this historic initiative to not just change the face of Texas, but to restore a little bit of sanity in this country that's lost its damn mind. So, Texas Democrats built Texas. And Texas Democrats are here to save it. Thank you very much for letting me take a check.
Yeah, what do you say? What do you say? I'm going to tell you what he said about getting involved. That is my message to you as well. Every day, you've got to think of what it is that you can do to make this dream come true. And it's not, I said this last time, I think, we know it's not impossible. We don't know what will happen. So that means we do everything we can to make it possible. And that means when we call y'all and say, we need block walkers, we need block walkers, come here. We're going to tell you right now. We need block walkers. We've got a candidate that we are very excited about. I'm going to let TJ just give it.
Hey everybody, I'm TJ. As many of you know, my passion is the school board here, right? Local elections matter. And I just want to say we have an awesome candidate for RISD District 3, Nazlee Burney. Let's hear it for her. She spoke earlier. Woo! We're hosting a block walk for Nazlee at 1 o'clock on Sunday at Big Dash Ice Cream. Meet us there at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Also, I want you guys to make sure that Eric Eager, who is running for the at-large position in RISD, make sure you're casting your ballot for him as well, okay? Thank you guys so much.
And we are calling people. We are saying, hey, if you ever signed up saying that you'd like to volunteer to block walk, I'm calling on you now. And when the May 2nd election is over, and we have block walked everywhere that we have for Nazlee, we're going to take those same people that now feel like, yes, we can do it, and we're going to go and we're going to block walk for Keenan Colbert and for Orlando Lopez. And these are our people, and not to slight anybody that's not right here in Richardson. You do tell them to do that where you are too. But we're going to just keep this thing going, and we are going to keep on knocking on doors, because what Kendall was talking about, what happened over in Fort Worth, over in Tarrant County, that happened from people knocking on doors. Everybody got out there. They knocked something like 30,000 doors. And I'm not going to steal all that thunder, but I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell them. I'm going to tell them. Keenan is running for Senate in Texas. Taylor Remmett just won a seat in the Senate in Texas. His manager is Keenan's manager. Y'all, that's a big deal. His name is Jake Davis, and he is going to be here next month to talk to us about what they did in that race. And we're going to bring that right over here, and we're going to do that with Keenan. We're going to do that with Orlando. We're going to do that with Zach, that couldn't be here tonight. He's on vacation with his family. Zach Herbert, who's running for HD 112. Y'all, we've got great candidates, and we've got a lot of people that want to do something. So if you want to do something, will you just put your hand up, give me a yes, and let's get ready to go do this. He mentioned the county conventions. That's day after tomorrow. Collin County is up in McKinney, and Dallas County is Westmoreland, South Dallas, right? Yeah. So this is really important stuff. Please plan to go there. Please plan to be back here next month. We'll have some more great programming for you. As you know, you need to get here early because you get a place to park and you get a chair to sit in. Next month it's going to be even more because we're growing and it's not going to be spring break. And so get here early. Did I forget anything? What? Oh, thank you. Yes. Golly. So excited, y'all. No Kings is March 28th. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So we are going to be meeting at the Arapahoe Station as a group of RAD protesters. We're going to get on the train and go downtown and walk with and protest with them downtown. So please join us. when you get your thing tonight that says, "Did you like this? Was it good? Whatever," you'll give it a thumbs up because this was good. That wasn't me. That's I'm just telling you, these people were good. And it will also say, "Do you want to do something else?" So please sign up to go with us if you can. There are going to be other places to protest if getting on the train and going downtown, all that walking isn't your thing. There's a place at Park in Preston, in Plano, out in Wiley. There's a lot of different things going on, and you can find some place to let your voice be heard. This is going to be the biggest protest in American history. Regarding No Kings. If you have an idea for a message for a banner, she's got the big bridge protest. Anybody got any ideas for that? Sina is right here. She is always looking for words to put up there. They get a lot of honks, a lot of eyes on that. So let's get that taken care of. I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you to our great speakers, to our candidates, and y'all be careful on the way home. We'll see you next Saturday at the protest. All right?